I had a vision. I said, these charter schools are coming up. I took over one. The worst school, it was the worst school in Oakland, if you can imagine. So what I did, I gave a very simple idea. I said, I'm going to do the opposite of what liberals do. I'm going to put crosses in my school. And I'm going to get rid of what do you call it? And I'm going to put crosses in my school, and I'm going to get rid of the burglary system. The system was $697 a month. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. So I got rid of the burglary system. I put a cross on my building. I put a cross in every classroom. I got rid of the computers, because you can steal a computer and you can pawn it. Nobody will steal a book, especially mathematics. Who is a criminal going to pawn a book to? Go into Oakland to a pawn shop and you see all these computers that they stole from the public school. And I got rid of the computers. I cut the lines myself. And every time the school district would say, you know, you need to hook up the internet, I said, I don't know what's wrong with the system. I cut them. Kids disarmed the computers. I bought textbooks. I bought used textbooks, like used homes. They were a discount. Follett. They're my buddies. I gave every kid a math book. I started doing 2 hours of math every day for kids. 2 hours. Now, in most schools, we do an hour to 45 minutes of math, and then we rotate. I had my kids in the 6th grade with the same teacher for the whole day. Very simple concept. I heard in Alaska, in some communities, you have a superintendent with less than 100 kids. They say there's one school district here that has 11 kids. Has anybody ever watched Little House on the Prairie? The teacher was the superintendent, the janitor, and everything. That's what it was at my school. I started with 38 kids, and when I left, some people say they ran me off. There's none of you here have the guts enough to run me anywhere. Not Oakland, nowhere in America, nobody's running me anywhere. That's my philosophy. Because my grandma did not raise a coward. My grandma raised an Indian who loves to fight. And I am a savage. As I said, I think you white people are just too nice. If we were in charge, we would be as nice as you. All this diversity and affirmative action, we don't have the diversity on the reservation. We don't have affirmative action on the reservation. All these programs you guys have created, you guys are insane. Or on drugs, or both. But what we did in that school is I gave kids a lot of math. Now I'm making it shorter because my time is limited. I'm giving you a short version. We gave kids a lot of math. Math is the secret. Math is objective. I started out with 2 hours a day. By the time I left, it was 3 hours a day. And gradually, my Indian kids and my black kids started outperforming the local Chinese kids. Then they accused us of cheating. And let me tell you something about Chinese. And if you're here and you're Chinese, you know I'm telling the truth. Chinese will not go to a sorry school. They will only come after you're the best. And once they read about our school, guess what? The Chinese came in herds. The Chinese would tell me, "Ooh, Dr. Chavis, this school is just like China." I said, "Why'd you leave China? If the schools are so good." He said, "There's no freedom." But my schools were like China. I extended the school year from 180 days to 210 days. You can't compete with China doing 180 days, my friend. Your school year is 180 days. The Chinese are 235 days, and they teach math. My school had the highest math schools in America. 87% of every senior in my class passed AP calculus, not the class, the national exam. These people thought we cheated. They came to our school. Now, how did I get 87% to pass? If you took all the kids in my school, we only had 200 and some high school kids. We had more kids, more blacks, more Indians, more Mexicans, and more Asians passing AP calculus than the whole district of 50-some thousand in that little school. high school of 200. All we did was practice. If you want to be a good Christian, what do you have to do? Practice. If you want to be good at anything, what do you want to do? Practice. You want to be a good runner? Practice. Why do I love numbers? I went to college on a track scholarship, and they looked at my half-mile time, and they did not look at me as an Indian. They said he can run the half mile in this fast, so he can compete at this level. I trust numbers. I don't trust no Republicans. I don't trust no Democrats. And I am a Democrat, my friends. I am not a Republican. Now, why am I a Democrat? I'm a Democrat so I can criticize the Democrats. If I come over here saying, if I convert to being a Republican, one thing in my county, I will not get a chance to vote where I live. I'm in North Carolina now. There's no Republicans. But Southern Democrats are much more conservative than you guys are, trust me. We are conservative in North Carolina. As a matter of fact, for the first time in 100, since Reconstruction, the Republicans have taken over. And you heard what it's called, LGTB? You guys heard about that, right? Well, I think it's funny myself. When I was a kid, you had a black restroom, a white restroom, and an Indian restroom. And that was racist. Now we want a gay restroom? We want to wait a minute, are we going backwards? I always ask conservatives, Christians, there's only 2 questions you need to ask to be a liberal. There's only 2. How much does it cost? Ask them. I don't care what they come up with. How much is it going to cost for this restroom nonsense? The other question is, where's the data to support what you're saying? And you Republicans concern me. Because I haven't heard one conservative in America say, are these gays and lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, goats, and everything else that they want to list under that? Are they being abused when they go to the restroom? Are they being assaulted? I haven't seen one piece of data where anything's happened to them. If nothing's happening to you, why do you need to be going to this other restroom? Huh? What's the purpose? The purpose is, I think, in North Carolina, where it's all going about, the Republicans have taken over North Carolina. And all this is an opportunity to make Republicans and Christians look bad. And the national media has fallen for it. Because we got real issues in North Carolina. In my county, 95% of all kids, white, black, Indian, Chinese, and Mexicans, 95% of all the seniors in my county last year who graduated failed the ACT math section. And we're talking about gays, bathrooms. 95% of failing. I was looking at your test scores in Alaska. 40% of your 4th graders, no, let's turn it around. 60% of your 4th graders cannot read in this, and you guys are spending $22,000 per child. There's something wrong with that picture. $22,000 for a child to go to school? Why don't you just give the money, why don't we just give $10,000 to the parents and tell them to keep them home? I found something amazing in this crowd today. I tried to talk to every kid I talked to, it was homeschooled. Thank you. Thank you. When you kids, you homeschool kids, when you go off to college, the liberals are going to try their best, all the same. They're going to try to brainwash you kids. They're going to tell your parents were wrong. Your parents are crazy. Remember, the only people you can trust are your parents. Your parents love you more than anybody else. And I don't care what any professor tells you, do not believe it if it's against what your parents told you. That's my philosophy. That's the only advice I can give you. And I'm bouncing around because I got my notes up here, and because mine was cut short, I'm just giving you an overview. Okay, guys, I apologize. But what are the solutions? Where was God? Where was Jesus born? Can anybody tell me? Where's Jesus born? Here, my man. Where? What's another word for in a manger?
An animal truck.
Yes! Humble beginnings, eh?
An animal truck.
Humble beginnings. Jesus was born in a manger. An animal truck. In a barn. He didn't have no fancy school. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter your race. It's how you're trained. How you're trained. Are you trained to be a good runner? Are you trained to be a good Christian? Are you trained to be a good student? The liberals are training. You couldn't design a public, let's say we all got together in this room and we said we're going to design a public school system to screw kids. Let's put one together. You could not come up with a better public school system than the American public school system to screw kids. It's the best one in the world. The kids from Mexico who come to North Carolina, I volunteer in a K through 8 school now. The kids who come from Mexico are outperforming the whites, the blacks, and the Indians where I live. Did you know we rank lower than Mexico in mathematics now, my friends? We're in trouble. What you gonna do? I'll tell you what I'd like for you to do. I got my own simple method. I like the homeschooling idea. Get together on Saturday. Every Saturday, I have a farm. I raise cattle. Brother Barton said earlier, he talked about how dumb sheep are. He's wrong. I disagree with you. You never raise goats. A goat is the closest thing to a Democrat that I've ever met. They got horns. Don't ever buy a goat with horns. They will get them stuck in the fence. And when you get them out, they'll get mad at you. We got these hybrid goats now. Do not ever buy these purebred goats. Now, how do I know this? I have sheep. I raise red Angus cattle. I have the largest red Angus cattle ranch in North Carolina. I'm red. I want red cows. Red is it. I know you white people think you're it, but red is it to me. And if I was white, white would be right. And if I was black, black would be right. Well, I'm probably some of all of those. Okay? All you full-bloods out there, I'm not a full-blood. I know I'm mixed. I don't know who my ancestors were with in a million years. But I know one thing, none of us are pure. We just identify with a group, that's all it is. We just identify with a group. But getting back to these goats and these Democrats, which are one and the same. Those goats drove me crazy. It would rain. If you buy 40 goats and it rains in North Carolina, 20 of them die. I am not joking. And the 20 that left, if they got horns, they will get their heads stuck in the fence, and your neighbor will come by and say, Ben, because I got a big sign, Amador Red Angus Ranch, Ben, your goat's stuck in the fence. You better get him out. You get him out. Sometimes I've left him overnight. I heard one of the speakers earlier said if you had a dog on the stage, you couldn't kick him. Well, if you're Indian, you can kick him and eat him. That's what my people, I know. Didn't I tell you up front, there's some savage in me, right? And dog tastes pretty good. I know that's not an American thing, but I tried it. I know that's not politically correct to say, but you guys eat some things that I wouldn't consider eating. I wouldn't eat cheese. Don't eat cheese. Don't eat cheese. But I'm not knocking what you eat. But anyway, not kicking the dog either. So, but what we do on my farm, after we got rid of the goats, kept the sheep, kept the cows, I have a barn. And you can look this up on the Washington Post. The Washington Post came to visit with me, Miss O'Reilly. I can't think of her first name right now. She's a writer for the Washington Post. I started a math camp in a barn. You don't need a big fancy building. What some of you need to do here is get a child or a couple kids and just start tutoring them some math on Saturday. My buddy and I, we got a barn. We asked anybody can come. Ran an ad in the newspaper. You can come, it's free. You have a rule. If you miss, you have to pay. It's free, but if you miss, you have to pay. Another thing, if you come, it's from every summer we do it. They get out of school this year, June the 7th. We start on June 9th, and we'll do it during the summer. We do it from 8:30 to 4. You bring your own lunch, but we're not feeding you. I don't care. I keep hearing about all you starving people in America. I have not met one of them. I don't see anybody starving in this country, unless, as Ronald Reagan says, you're on a diet. So what we do is very simple. And what you can do, if you get nothing out of this, if you tutor one child, you've made a difference. Tutor one child. When you go home, if you got a cousin or nephew, or just work with a child. It's that simple. And if you got a little bit more time, I know the senators, and I don't care about no senator. I don't care about no congressman. I changed my whole strategy. 2 years ago, I said, I'm going to buy off the school board members. So I got me a slate of school board members. And I got my buddies, and my first question, are you a Christian? We call it Christians for a Better Robeson County. We got white people, we got black people, we got Indian people, we got Mexican people. And then I got a Muslim friend. He's not Christian, but he's with us. We really don't care. But we wanted to make it clear in your face that we want Christians on the school board. Not only you need to be a Christian, you need to be a conservative Christian, and you have to be for textbooks. Less testing. There's so much testing going on in the school now that there's no teaching. In the school I volunteer, we got 180 days. I got the testing calendar, test prep, all it was 117 days of interruption. And then they lied, the school board lied, and the superintendent lied and said that's the state mandate. Whenever a superintendent or anybody tells you a state mandate, say, could you give me a copy of it? Don't trust anybody who says state mandate. So what we did at the election we just had, for 2 years we worked with candidates. We had 3 candidates, Indians. Now when I was a kid, remember I told you it was segregated, the white people were in charge. Let me tell you something about when the white people were in charge. When the white people were in charge, we used to get these raggedy old books passed on down to us. When the Indians got in charge of the county, my people were the largest. When we got in charge, we stopped buying books. We sent board members to conferences. We paid the superintendent $250,000. I wouldn't mind if he made $10 million if he was the best in the state, but we're the worst. In our county, 22,000 students, about 20% are Hispanic. We have 3 Hispanics who work for the school system. When I asked why aren't any Hispanics working for the school system, they said, well, they didn't apply. Did you run it in a Hispanic magazine or whatever? You mean Hispanics can't cook? Now, one thing I know about the Mexicans can do is cook. And I can eat some Mexican food. But you go to the cafeteria in my county, all the cafeteria employees are Indian. Now, there's something wrong with the blacks. 1/3 of my county, about 1/4 of black, 1/4 Indian, 1/4 Hispanic, and 1/4 white. There's something wrong. The whites and the blacks have some real issues in my county. Because 70% of the people working in the cafeteria are Indian. In the maintenance department are Indian. The administrators, 65% are Indian. I asked these white people, how'd you let them do it? Huh? We got some dumb white people where I'm from. The blacks are just as bad. I'm Indian and I'm fighting the Indians? There's something wrong with this picture. Because we are wrong, my friend. My people are wrong. So what we did, this recent election, in March the 16th, we defeated 3 Indian school board members who had been on the board for over 20 years. And people said it couldn't be done. Kick your ass. I supported a white guy over an Indian. Not because he was white, but because he was right. We got 2 Indians too, but they're conservative. Now we had 3 white people on the board. We had 4 white people on the board before. Now we have a school board of 11. Crazy. There's 4 4 whites, 4 Indians, and three blacks. One of the whites had been bought off because he works at an Indian bank. He works for the Indians. The other 3 whites were the only school board members I supported. Now we got him some help. So what I'm saying to you, what is one of the solutions, I believe? School board members, I don't understand. The school district is one of the largest employers in every county in America. They have more power than the county commissioners. Everybody wants to be a city councilman. Everybody wants to be a mayor. I guess so you can be on TV. The school board has the power because they are messing up your kid's brain. They are messing up our future. If we could get one person in this audience today who wants to go for help run for the school board, we should support that one person. We need some people who will run, Christians, conservatives who will run for the school board. That's the solution in the county that I'm at. I volunteer in a school, but I'm not really, I will say I'm wasting my time. I'm really a spy. I'm in the school looking at everything that's going on, taking notes, and then use it when my candidates run. Now we just put our slate of candidates for 2 years down the road. We've got another slate because we have another election for the school board. I've already figured out my candidates for that because we're going to take over. But I'm in the school volunteering, and I adopted 2 classes. I adopted the lowest 3rd grade and the lowest 4th grade class. And I told the principal, he's a friend of mine, I said, let me work with these 2 classes and try my model. We do 5 hours of math every day in those classes. I don't care about anything else. Sounds bad, doesn't it? But guess what, my friends? When we had an exam last week, those 2 low 3rd grades and low 4th grade, guess what they did to the high group? They whipped their butts. Math is objective. That's why I chose math. Not a math teacher, but I got some common sense. And God means for us to use our common sense. I was telling you, in my school, I got rid of computers, and I got crosses in every classroom. How did I do that? Well, I'm Indian. And I'm no dummy. I had a lot of great experience. I had a lot of great training growing up in the segregated South on how to survive. One of my grandfathers was a bootlegger, and one of them was a preacher. I got the best of both worlds. And they could not stand each other. But as my grandfather, the bootlegger, used to say, I keep him in business. So what I did at the school, I took and put a cross up on front of the school. In the classroom, I put crosses up. The California Teachers Union, who hates me, you read about me on the internet, FBI came, the same thing happened, all that's already happened to me. I've had the FBI, IRS, they've taken me to court, they sent them a thief, because I owned the buildings that the schools were in. I did, I bought them. You mean I should be leasing from somebody else? I did own the buildings. Yeah. But anyway, the California Teachers Union sent a letter to the superintendent and California, some legal organization. They came to the school and they said, you got to remove these crosses. But I'm going to tell you, white people can be really stupid sometimes. Especially liberals. You just got to understand how to fight with it. So when this liberal and these 2 lawyers came to my school and started pointing at these crosses, I said, what cross? Don't you see that cross? I said, that's not a cross. I said, that's the 4 directions. I'm Indian, and I'm offended by you. Oh my God, we didn't know. We didn't know. I said, don't you see the feathers on it? Now some of my Christian friends would say, Ben, you're lying. You know, don't hide. Wait a minute. Does God want us to be idiots? God wants us to win. God wants us what? To win. It was a cross to you. But that moment, when they were after me, what was it? The 4 directions. You can put a cross in every school in America. It's what you call it. And let me tell you, when I put the cross on the outside of the building in a black neighborhood, and I put it in each classroom, discipline dropped in my school. Because I'd walk through it, I'd say, God's watching. I used to have a philosophy I tell my kids when I was a principal. Now, I paid my kids because I'm a capitalist. Capitalism came from Christianity, my friends. Christianity, then capitalism. I love capitalism. So I paid my kids for perfect attendance. I got rid of the, what do you call attendance liaison? I got rid of them. I went down to the local liquor store where the kids would play craps. I said, if you catch any of my kids skipping school, I'll pay you $4 a piece. Okay? First day of school, I brought these blacks into my school. I said, if you catch any of them, I made a big announcement in front of the school, and they're like, what? And one of them said, what if we beat the bus? I said, I'm not paying you for that. But the kids in my school believed that I was in with the gang. After they brought 3 kids from skipping to my school, I had no more problems with kids skipping school. Not only that, I paid the kids who had perfect attendance $50. Now the state was giving me $34. Every day a kid missed school in California, I lost $34. If they had perfect attendance, I made money, didn't I? Our attendance went from 68% to 99%. And they said I was cheap. We had one class, Mr. Bernica, 3 years, nobody ever missed that class in 3. We would move our teachers up with our kids. He had them 6th grade, self-contained. You guys know what self-contained, where you teach all subjects except for PE and music? He'd move up with them. He had them 6th, 7th, and 8th. 3 years, no one ever missed a Mr. Vernica's class. After the 3 years, when they graduated, I put billboards all over the city of those kids. Kids want to see themselves. Kids love money, just like you do. I bribe kids. Are you being bribed? You get paid. So now, I'm all over the place, but the bottom line is here, as when the teachers union said, I got invited to speaking. I've never been invited by a university. Washington Post says my school is #1 in the nation. #1 in 2012 and 2013, ranked as #1 in the nation. We beat all the other schools because every kid in my high school had to take an AP course. You're special ed, you still took AP. In 2012, every senior in my high school got a letter to a UC school, a scholarship offer. Every senior, special ed, all of them. Why? Because I had beat them down with math for 6 years once they were 6th graders. I just beat them with math. My kids were just the best in the nation at mathematics. And if you're good at math in America, because most Americans go around doing this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They do. We're dumb when it comes to math. Check with your Department of Public Instruction, whatever you call it in Alaska. Call the finance department and see who's working there. They're not white people, guys. They're not. If they are white, they're from Eastern Europe. Finance people are Indians, Chinese, or Eastern European. Same in North Carolina. I checked. That's why I know. And you go to the math department. I heard somebody say they were a professor at the University of Alaska is accounting. Check in your math department at University of Alaska and see what they are. Not white people. They're foreigners. They cannot hardly speak English. And it doesn't matter if you can do math. So I'm obsessed with mathematics because I trust numbers more so than anything else. But getting back to this whole concept, what we need to do are some simple things. Have anything I told you cost money? Does it cost money? Bribes? My own money. I can bribe who I want to with it. I donated the money that I got for those kids. And I can do what I want to. We have this math camp. Every summer we offer a math camp for kids. And we're starting to see, we've got kids now, this is our 6th year in North Carolina. I got kids who are going off to college now. And what we do is when you go off to college or you get out of high school, we hire you to teach in the summer, to teach the kids. And then you will see, you'll look, and it's very empowering when the parents meet a teacher and a child, and an 18 or 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and they'll say, oh, I went through this program. I went through this program. Kids love it. They complain. The first week, they complain. They also have to run a mile every day. Because remember, my philosophy is I want to train the mind and the body. And I found since we require the kids to bring their own lunch, they're a lot healthier. Now, some parents want to be in control. Dr. Chavis, did you see where that mama, she bought him a Burger King? I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to be, I'm not, whatever the kids eat, whatever they bring to eat, that's on them. And if they don't bring their lunch, their mama can't bring it after school starts, or the dad can't bring it. You can't bring a meal after school starts. And people say, well, what if they starve? You mean in 8 hours? If you haven't eaten in 8 hours, you're going to starve? I'd like to see it happen. But what I've noticed the kids do, you know what the kids do. Kids figure it out real quick. I'm going to share my lunch with him because I may forget mine next week. Kids are very good. Let me tell you something. What I was in education for over 30 years and never had one bad job. And I taught in Oakland, California, Phoenix area. I taught all over America. Never had a bad kid. Because I used to tell them, you think you're a bad boy? I will retain you. You guys know what retention means? We don't do it anymore. I had one kid, he's white, just to prove to you, you guys aren't that smart. That's my goal, to make you point out that you're not that smart. I had one white kid in the school. This is no lie. There was only one, well, he wasn't full white. He's half Filipino, so it could have been the Filipino side. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know he wasn't Indian. That's one thing I know. And all these white people were holding up things today. There were no Indians holding it. I was on time, wasn't it? I was waiting for mine. People got mad and I wanted to come up and do my job today. I wasn't late. Murphy, Alex Murphy. I had him in the 7th grade 3 years. He tested advanced on everything. But there's one thing Alex would not do. He would not come to school on time. Time is very important for me. Now, I never seen a red clock. The clock is white. I don't care. Be on time. Alex would get to school at 9 o'clock the first 2 years, and then by the 3rd year, he was taller than me. I said, what do you do, wait and marry one of the teachers? He said, Dr. Chavis, this year I'm going to graduate. I'm going to get on to the 8th grade. Alex is a business major, of course, now. He's a business major in college at San Francisco State University, and he's going to come and teach math for me this summer. But one thing, Alex, and most kids, you've got to have rules, just like the Bible. God was the first landlord. Adam and Eve were the first tenants. And Adam and Eve could not live up to the contract, did he? And since they could not live up to the contract, he kicked them out. I was a big Jew in a moment. But I don't believe in kicking kids out of school. I do not believe in that. I believe in punishing them other ways. If you're in the 8th grade, I have done this several occasions. You're in the 8th grade, you're acting like a 6th grader, or you're doing 6th grade work, you are going back. I have demoted kids. Who says we can't do it? Their parents would come and complain to me, and I'd say to them, and my buddy would say, I said, do you want him to grow up to be an idiot? I didn't say where, I said, dude, remember Socrates? Asked him the question. Do you want him to be a fool? No. Do you want to be an idiot? No. You want to be a loser? No. I said, well, he's not acting like a winner, so I'm going to move him down. Never had problems with kids. I've been threatened, I've been jumped, I've been everything. But remember, I'm an Indian who wanted to be a cowboy. And I was a bull rider. And do you think, as crazy as I am, to crawl up on a bull and ride a bull and get thrown off and get stomped, then I'm worried about anybody else beating me up? I want to educate kids. and I will do whatever I have to do. But as Christians, as capitalists, we got to outsmart the liberals. Remember the 4 directions, if you remember nothing else. Remember that you, each and every one of you here, can pull a child to the side and teach it some basic math. Do not ever trust the public school system. The Chinese do not trust the public school system. The Jews do not trust the public school system. If they did, they would not work with their kids on the weekend. The universities, no university in America trusts the public school system. And I'm going to prove it to you. The University of Alaska and every university and community college in America requires you to take a placement test when you arrive on campus. And the purpose of that placement test is to say you may have gotten an A in calculus in Oakland, California, but we don't believe it. We're going to give you this placement test to find out where you're at, and we're going to put you where you belong. And when I just got some data, I got some data on Alaska schools. 40% of your freshmen are taking remedial classes. The University of Alaska has confirmed that your public schools are not doing their job. That's why they have remedial classes. That's all that means. So, my friends, I'm going to close it here. I apologize for bouncing all over. I apologize. But, like I said, if you just tutor a child, and if you help somebody, or if you run for a school board member, I talk with you on the phone, whatever, teach, try to share with you what I've learned, and there's people who help, but we can make a change. But that's my simple story and my simple solutions. And don't ever buy a goat.